Okay, hi guys, I just wanted to continue showing you that I have made this sphagnum moss climber last night, which I didn't get the chance to video, but I will make another one and show you how I did this. This is a log or just a wood underneath with wrap around the cocoa fibre, which I've run out, so I need to get some more, and also cocoa hash, and then of course sphagnum moss. And this is about 1.5 meters maybe, or just over a meter, so that's for that one. And I am making, and I made that for this Monstera Swisscheese climbing that I have bought a while ago, but I just hadn't had a chance to pop it in a climber, and I have repotted the other day, so as you can see. And I have divided or sort out the vine, so I've got 3 in one pot, but they're all in one plant, so I didn't want to cut it down. I wanted to have a climber, so hopefully I can pop it in here somewhere and then coil it up. So I used the sphagnum moss from Bunnings that are actually great for developing or dressing up your orchids, or obviously making the sphagnum moss. So I used more than half of the packet to do my climber. So there you go, and I haven't wet it yet, so let's find a perfect spot for it in here to dig this one down. And I will just put on my gloves and show you. Now the reason being I made this because I would like to keep this. I don't want to sell this because this is for me. I really like this particular plant, so I should probably have, I might dig this side. And have a room. Now I usually have a piece of something to hold it. Another long pot or something. So let me just find a pot that's long enough to hold my sphagnum moss in place, like so. Okay, so that should be enough. I'm going to make sure it's actually down there so it doesn't so that will keep it steady. And let's just put that in there. And put the soil back in there. Make it nice and strong so that it won't come off. Put a little bit more soil, and I probably should have done my actual plants a little bit further out, but I didn't do that, did I? Now this has to be one of my best climber that I made. I did make another one for another Swiss cheese, but I crocheted it, which took me ages to do. So there you go, nice and firm. I don't know if you can see that. Now, there's my climber, so I'm just going to slowly put my actual plants in place. So it's just, should be nice and steady. Firm anyway, because I do have the pot in there to hold it together so that it won't fall. Now, I probably shouldn't even need to put the stuff on the bottom, but yeah, so that's what it's going to look like. I think it looks good. Mind you, I'm admiring my old plant. Okay, so let's begin with one. Now this is the final one. I has a with the Monstera, with the climber, they do have these aerial roots that can dig into the plants. So I'll just quickly show you. Now obviously once the plant is, if I had a climber to begin with, but I did bought it, see that little roots in here? They like to dig themselves into the climbing. So in nature, they climb with, you know, trees and what have you. So that's why I am going to place one in here, right at the very bottom, and just coil it around, hoping that I don't break the branches at the same time. So I'm going to really tighten it up because I've got quite a fair bit to do. Oh, and I just break the leaves. Not happy, Rose. Not happy. Okay. I could have it climbing up like so and then bring it down again into the ground, because obviously you want the roots to come back. Now it's going to have fun uncoiling this later on, but I don't intend to uncoil it. So see how that roots are there? So if I just place that into here, it will find a way of digging itself into the actual sphagnum moss. So I just got to be careful that I don't break it. Now I'll bring this one down, back down, so when it reaches down again, I can place the growth down the bottom in the actual sphagnum moss. So, I mean in the soil. So now, I'm just going to get rid of my gloves because it's really hard to do stuff. Okay, so, like so. And then I'm just going to use a little holder, little clip, to put this one in place. Now the good part when you have your Swiss cheese climbing as well, like I said, it digs, the roots digs down into the actual moss and it gives them nutrients as well. There we go. So now they're going to be happy being, their roots being stuck in there. Now if I ever want to trim them, because the roots is already climbing into it, it will also encourage them to root more. So that's one. And let's place the other vein into our climber. Just got to get the right one because there's two very long ones, and the leaves are tangled up. So come here. Alright, this is the second. I made my own climbers because the one that you buy at the shop I made of cocoa hash, and they've really glued, like it's really hard and rough, and I don't think, well, the plant's roots are just too This one's not very good. It's not digging into, so I'm going to redo it. I might do the other way around. Okay, so let's try this way. Where it actually digs, see the roots, the aerial roots? It's going to dig into the, so I might do it right at the very bottom. I might bury this one in here. To give it more access to the soil. Then just cover the nodes to get more support for the soil. And I should have done that with the other vein, but I didn't do it, so that's okay. Better late than never. Now we're pulling up the top. I'm just trying to make sure that the roots is facing the actual sphagnum moss. Because at the moment it's twisting completely different. I'm not having a good time. Okay, let's just do that. Trying not to kill my plants. It is quite fiddly, you know. Alright, so we're getting the groove. We're getting it. I should make a lot of this sphagnum moss and start selling, I guess, but I've just got so much to do. And hopefully it'll pay off. I got my fish and got my plants, which I love doing. Just gotta make a little bit of cash to continue doing what I'm doing. Okay, so there's the roots. Let's put it all the way to the top and then come down again. Now, I love the leaves on this particular plant. The only thing I don't like about it is the gap of, like, look at that, you break the leaves and then the gaps is just really long without leaves. So hopefully as the plant grows longer, I'd be able to slide him back down, and hopefully this time I'll have better leaves. Now the lady that had this one, she obviously had it for a little while. She just didn't have a climber for it. She had a tiny little climber, which is not enough for this particular plant because it needs, the roots needs to dig. It needs to climb. And according to the people that's really expert to this particular plants, the better. Once there's a roots, there's a climber, the leaves gets bigger, and of course once it digs into the sphagnum moss, it feels like it's climbing into the trees, and it thinks to develop more leaves and develop more roots, hence being a healthy plant. So I am trying to do that, and it's looking good so far. And then later on I will spray it with water, because I have not done that yet. I didn't want to do it while I was doing my transparring. How is that? It's meeting on the next over here, so I'll be able to join the two nodes together like so. Now I can try to dig that in. Hopefully I do not wreck my sphagnum moss at the same time. No, it's not doing it. That's okay. Alright, so that's what it looks like so far. There we go. I still got one to go. So let's place this second vein. This one's a little bit longer than the other one. Okay, so I went that way, so I'll try this way now, this side, and it will just flow. So I'm going to dig some on the ground. Maybe I'll plant it along here because it's quite long, and hopefully that will give me more roots and more leaves and more growth, because there's no leaves on that one anyway. Maybe just the vein, there's nothing else in it, and I want more leaves, but I don't want to cut it. I mean, I could, but I prefer not to. Just going to leave it the way it is. So I'm just going to grow a little bit. I'm going to climb it. I'm going to plant it on the base first before I bring it up the top. Like so. Leave that one down there. It's just like planting a new one, but still in the main branch. Now the important is you cover the nodes, not the, that's fine, you can have that one showing, but just the nodes. Might let that one show so it can get the, what you call it, photosynthesis, to get some sun and encourage this bit to grow new leaves and new roots. So I'll just leave that there. Because it's quite long anyway, I'll be able to do that. It's not coming off of me. I'm going to try this, see if this works. Let me try. It's not facing, it's not keeping it staying there. Just dig some more soil, cover this a bit more. anyway, the idea is, guys, is to have your Monstera Swisscheese on a climbing pole, so it becomes more abundance and you'll have more beautiful plants later on. Just don't overwater it because you don't want the roots to rot. So I'm just going to place a few more vein down the bottom so I have more growth on the bottom. And it's nice to have a climber, but it's nice to also have the roots, the stem being healthy. Just bury that one in there. Okay, then it's time to coil it up now. I think we get enough being buried down the bottom. So I'll just bury that bit. You're not seeing what I'm doing, am I? There. I'm just burying some of the vein on the bottom so it can dig and grow into the ground. It helps with more leaves and more roots to support the plants. I have almost run out of them. Okay, let's coil this up. Well, I did say I wasn't going to sell this, but if anyone wants it and it pays me a good price, then why not? Because, well, I can always make another one. And I do help my family quite a lot with my little hobby. So why not? That's the whole point of having my plants, is plant, remake, and do more. Hopefully I'm not stressing my plant too much by doing this, because they are not used to this, but they will get used to it. Okay, just make sure that your nodes or the aerial roots is pointing into the actual sphagnum moss, so when it does come out, it's going to dig its roots into the hole. Easy effort to do that, like so. almost done. My DIY sphagnum moss climbing pole. Putting my beautiful Monstera Swiss cheese, or a Swiss cheese, not Adansonii, Swiss cheese. There we go. Oops. Let's not grab the roots, I mean the leaves. We want the leaves, we don't want the... Okay. Alright, so I am done. Just about to finish my last little coil. Oops, daisy, what happened there? I have lost you guys. And I am able to again join the two coil. How would it